Your videos get views, but your sales are not going up. And the reason is usually sitting in the first 15 seconds of your video before you've even made your first point. And this is why you need to learn how to write good hooks. However, every hook guide that you've watched might make it worse for you because all of them are built to make you hold as many people as possible. And this might piss off a lot of people because the hooks that actually bring in potential clients do the exact opposite. They get most of your audience to leave in the first 8 seconds of the video on purpose so the few hundred people who can actually become your potential clients can stay and lean in. Well, before we begin, why should you even listen to me? Well, my name is Cam and I've written over 2,500 hooks for coaches and agency owners, and I run their channels end to end that generated 6 figures in monthly revenue, and they attribute most of their leads to a strategically run channel. And I'm giving you 6 hooks today, 6 different ways to open a video, and each one is for a different situation your viewer is in. These are 6 that I use the most because they are the ones that pull in the right person and move them closer to booking a call. You're gonna get all 6, a template for each, and an example so you can learn to use it straight into your next video. By the end of the video, you're gonna be able to write hooks that keep more viewers watching and, more importantly, keep the right viewers for your business. But before I give you the 6, let me show you the fundamental structure they all share, and then we'll get into the templates. Let's be straight, nobody books a call off a hook. Your first 15 seconds have never closed anyone in the history of YouTube. A hook is one of about 5 elements that add up to a video that brings you clients. And it happens to be the one that actually decides whether anybody stays to see the other 4. And that's why it is so important. So a hook has one job: to get viewers to stay. And if you are an online coach or an agency owner, then you want to get the right viewer to stay. For someone to stay, they need to know what the video is about. They need a little bit of curiosity and they need to believe it's made for them. On a business channel, you need the wrong viewer to leave because a click from a hobbyist isn't free. It tells YouTube to bring you more hobbyists, and 6 months later, you got a growing channel full of people that will never book a call with you. So your hook is a filter first and a magnet second. And let's get right into it. There are 3 steps for the structure of a strong hook. Step 1 is context. In your first sentence, you say what the video is about using a problem that the viewer already has, or you could use a desired outcome for the viewer as well. So if you say something like, your videos get views, but you get 0 calls, your sales are not going up, that's a problem. And if you say, if you want to generate more qualified leads for your business using YouTube, this video is for you, that's a desired outcome. So you can lead with either one. Step 2 is the buffer line. And this is a 1 sentence that usually starting with a word like but or and that interrupts the viewer, and it could be a contrary belief or it could be a question that creates curiosity. It doesn't teach anything, it just makes them pause and stay a little bit longer, so they're gonna accept what you're about to say next, or they're kind of eager to listen to what you're about to say next. Which is step 3, the flip. And the flip should be the one belief the whole video is built to change, which means you can't write your hook until you know what you're trying to change in someone's mind. That's what building a video backwards from the offer actually looks like in practice. And it's something that I went in more detail on in my last video, which is 5 biggest worst mistakes that YouTube coaches actually do when writing scripts. Now look at what I did to you earlier in this video. I said we're talking about hook. Then I said your videos get views, but your calendar stays empty or your sales are not going up. So that is step 1. I named the topic in the first 4 words, and I delivered on the promise that I made with my title and thumbnail. Then I tied it to a problem that you actually have in your own language, and I aimed it at someone who sells something. And if you're a hobbyist creator, that sentence did nothing for you and you're probably already gone, which was my point over here. Then I said every hook guide that you've watched will make it worse. That's the buffer line, or step 2 in the structure. It teaches you nothing, but it creates a contrary belief to what hooks are commonly understood to do. Then I told you the hooks that bring in potential clients get most of your audience to leave on purpose. And that's the flip, which is step 3 in the structure. And it's the one belief this whole video exists to change. If you finish this video believing that your hook's job is to filter people rather than hold as many people or freeloaders into the video, then everything I do after this is going to make sense to you. Then ultimately, I gave you my proof or credibility and ended it with what you're getting in this video. So that was the structure. And now let me give you the 6 hook templates that you can apply to your videos immediately. Hook number 1 is the simplest one of them all, and it's the one that gets my clients the most retention when used correctly. This one is all about step 1 in the hook structure. So you describe a problem they can relate to or a desired outcome. So the templates look like this. If a specific problem or an observable detail, this video is for you. An example of this template will look like this. If your last 3 videos actually have decent view counts and not one of them put anything on your calendar, this video is for you. Why it moves them closer to a call? Being that specific makes you sound like you've seen this exact situation 100 times, and that you can describe the exact thing the viewer, aka your potential client, is annoyed about, and they feel it in their guts. When someone does that, you don't feel sold to. You feel like somebody finally gets it, and that's the feeling that makes people actually book a call or stay longer. The weak version is going broad because you're scared of losing views, and you start targeting a broader market and colder leads that will not book a call with you. For example, when you say, if your content isn't performing the way you would like it, then this video is for you. Now you're targeting a much broader views, and potentially you're not getting your potential client or your ideal client to actually watch that video. You're getting a broader, colder market that's gonna check out your video. So get so specific that it's slightly even uncomfortable, but at least it's gonna move something in the ideal client that you have, and you can attract the ideal client to your business. Make your client feel the pain that they're going through. So naming the pain that they're already living with gets their attention. And the next hook that I'm gonna talk about is gonna get their trust, because it deals with something they're a little embarrassed about. But real quick, before we get to the next part, I built a short online assessment that finds the biggest gap in your content strategy. So if your channel isn't generating leads the way you would like, complete the assessment and you will walk away with one fix that you can go and make today. It's the first link in the description down below, and that's it. Back to the video. So hook number 2, and this one actually points straight at a financial amount that your potential client actually spent to try to solve their problem. This might be built on something that your potential client is actually still annoyed about, because most of them have already paid somebody to fix this before they ever found you or heard your point of view. I don't know about you, but I felt this a few times. Maybe you hired an editor, or maybe a social media manager, maybe a course that you actually bought and it didn't work. Most people of your ideal client might avoid bringing that up. You should open your videos with it because it's going to make them feel seen in a way. So the template looks like this. You already paid for whatever the obvious fix is at that time, and desired outcome didn't change. The problem wasn't the obvious fix. So an example of this will look like this. You hired an editor, the videos got sharper, and your sales didn't go up. The problem wasn't the editor. The problem was your content strategy. Why it moves them closer to a call? You're telling them that their money went to the wrong fix. Why it moves them closer to watching the video or booking a call with you? Because you're telling them that their money went to the wrong solution and that they're not the problem. And maybe deep down, they know that this is true. They were braced to feel stupid, but instead you told them that it wasn't their fault. It also tells them that you're a different kind of professional, you're a different kind of solution than the one that let them down. And that type of objection, the one that sits quietly in the back of someone's mind, is what actually kills most deals, usually before anyone books a sales call. So if you can handle the last disappointment, they will actually hear you, which sets up the next hook template, because this one actually flips something they think is going really well. Hook number 3, and this one gets the biggest reaction. This one comes from step 3 in our hook structure, the flip, which creates curiosity by presenting a question of some sort or a contrary belief. So you take a number they're proud of, something they genuinely think is a win, and you show them that the opposite is true, or that it's costing them money. And the template looks like this. Your thing that's working is working, and that's the problem. An example of this would look like this. Your thumbnails are working, and that's the problem. You've got a great click-through rate, but you're getting it from all the wrong people. You're getting it from all the people that actually wouldn't book a call with you. And every one of those clicks is teaching the YouTube algorithm to bring you the wrong audience. Why it moves them closer to booking a call or to actually watching your video? You're telling them that the opposite of what they believe and what they're comfortable with. So it makes them feel uncomfortable enough that they'll stay just to find out if you're right. They want to listen to you. It also does your filtering for you, because a hobbyist hears that and they just click off. But a coach or an agency owner who's been chasing click-through rates for 6 months and their sales still aren't going up, they're curious as to what you have to say. Their curiosity is going to build because of that hook. Use this one carefully though, because it only works if you're actually right. If you can't explain the leak in the next 30 seconds, then you've just been contrarian for attention. And this kind of attention, or the kind of client that you want, will actually spot that type of attention or needy attention, and most probably they won't even book a call with you. So that's 3 ways to open up on a problem. The next one doesn't open up on a problem at all. Hook number 4 is going to do something slightly differently, and this is where you lead with your proof. This one takes the proof that most people save for the end of the video and moves it a little bit closer to the beginning of the video. So instead of claiming you can do something, you open up with something that you've actually already done, and you tell it exactly the way it happened. So the template looks like this: something specific that you've actually done, and the one detail that made it work. An example of how this looks like, and this one is my own. I've run channels end-to-end for coaches and agency owners since 2022. For example, my client Travis Marziani, we've been working for over 2.5 years on his YouTube channel, and he only films for about 2 to 4 hours a month, and I handle everything else for him in the back end. I do the scripting, the editing, the posting, the search engine optimization, and the ideation, and he only does the filming. I do everything else. And I've turned his organic YouTube content into a sales funnel that generates over 100K per month, and he attributes most of his leads to a strategically run channel. Now, why does that move a potential client closer to booking a call with you? Because potential clients spend weeks and months doing research before they ever book a call. And they've been promised many things before, but credibility does a job that a promise cannot. Now notice what I didn't say. I didn't say the channel gets them every client or every lead possible, and I didn't throw a number at you that I cannot back up. You just heard it from him. And I said most of their leads come through it, because that's the part that I can stand behind. So the rule on this one is to say less than you could deliver. So a slightly boring claim that you can back up will always be an exciting one that somebody could question. Because the moment a potential client catches you stretching the truth, everything else you say stops counting. So proof handles the doubt they have about you and builds credibility. The next one I have handles the doubt about themselves. So hook number 5, and this is where you say their objection out loud before they can. Whatever it is that makes your potential client hesitate, you open with it in their own words before they've even had the chance to say it in their own head. And the template looks like this: you don't want to, the thing that you're dreading, good, because you don't have to, and I'll show you, dream outcome through an actionable item. So an example of this looks like this: you don't want to become a YouTuber and be filming 10 hours a week or posting 3 times a week. Well, good, because I'm going to show you how to grow a YouTube channel and book clients by filming 2 to 4 hours a month, and what that actually looks like. So why does this move them closer to booking a call or actually staying longer to watching the video? Because an objection that you didn't name doesn't go away. And handling objections is the most important part of any sales funnel or sales call. So if you can handle one right there in the hook, you've built trust and authority in the first minute. So that type of hook covers the doubt. And the last one that I'm going to talk about is actually going to deal with the most common reason potential clients haven't booked a sales call yet. Hook number 6 is for people who already agree with you and still haven't booked a call. Because most of your viewers aren't saying no to you, they're just saying later. So this one makes later a bit more expensive, and it does it without any countdown timer nonsense or any of these cheesy sales techniques. And the template looks like this: every time period that you wait, this specific thing that you're waiting for is piling up against you. And for this one, you kind of have to think a little bit creatively on how to create some examples of this. So an example of this one will look like this. Every quarter that you sit on posting content, the competitor who's annoying you is publishing 12 more videos, answering the exact questions that your potential clients are typing into the YouTube right now. So this is something that kind of creates urgency, but it's a bit more creative in terms of how you put the structure into it. So it's not a bit cheesy, it's actually true. Another example could be something like this. The best time to improve your content strategy and post consistently was 6 months ago. The next best time is today. Why it moves them closer to a call? Because urgency is usually the last thing that has to click before somebody takes action. And this is the only kind of urgency that a business owner won't ignore. Fake urgency, like all the only 2 spots left kind of stuff, honestly, those get skipped over by someone who sells for a living because they use those lines themselves. But the cost that piles up is different, and it's usually true. And I'm sure you're hearing this type of urgency hooks in content these days, especially with all the AI stuff. Just keep it specific, because the moment this one turns into the market is moving fast, don't get left behind, this hook kind of dies. You know, people are gonna buy into it very quickly. So those are the 6 templates. Name the problem they're already living with, point at the money they already spent, show them the leak and the thing they're proud of, lead with your proof, say their objection first, put a real number on waiting, and all 6 of these templates use the 3-step structure that we went over earlier in this video. Underneath all 6, point at one belief that you're trying to change. Use them on your next video, and like I said at the start, none of those 6 will actually book you a call on their own. A hook gets the right person to stay throughout the video. It doesn't decide whether the topic was worth filming, whether the script moves them anywhere, or whether the ending gives them a reason to book. Plenty of channels have great openings on videos that were never connected to a business offer. And if you want that done on your whole channel instead of just your hooks, that's exactly what the assessment does. It's the first link in the description, and you can answer a few questions about how your channel runs right now, and it shows you the biggest gap between your content and your offer, plus one fix that you can apply today. It's the same thing I just did to your hooks, applied to everything else. And if you take one line from this video, take this one. Your hook's job isn't to get everybody to watch, it's to get the right person to stay. Subscribe if you want more tips like this, because this is pretty much all I talk about here. I'll see you in the next video.